Well, what do we have here? Hello everyone, Alzion the Great, and I would like to welcome you back to League of Legends Manager on MOBA GM. After a couple weeks, this series has finally returned, maybe a month or two, maybe not a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, the series has returned, and we're going to be going through, a comeback episode today, showing off a new format. But first, I want to explain what happened. So, in the previous simulation, which is this right here, basically, the game would not get easier. And I do not know why. Like, I changed, literally, I will come up flat out. I did change the difficulty to make it easier, but we still just couldn't win. And it really just made me really unmotivated to complete it. And also, as you all know, the drafting breaks the game. And that just really made me unmotivated to play it, and so I stopped recording it and stopped uploading it. But now, I've decided it's time, we need to bring it back, and it was tough because I couldn't use any player file, I couldn't use any team file. I had to basically reconstruct the entire league, by myself. Or I guess I shouldn't say by myself, of course I'm by myself. By hand, I guess would be the appropriate term. I had to recreate every single player who is in the league right now. Every single one of these players. Just like, I had to rename them, I had to change the position for some. I even had to create, there wasn't enough players on teams, so I had to create new ones and, put their names in and then put their overalls in and put them on the team that they were on. But yeah, for the most part, the league is the same. All the teams have the starting rosters. SI and Jade Crown don't have flags because they haven't played a game yet. But yeah, all the teams have every single member that was with them at the end of the last season. Although it's gonna say one with the years with team because everyone's there, but everyone's the same age. I think I still have to adjust contracts though, so I will go do that after this episode. I don't want the entirety of SIG to be gone after next year. That's not fun. But yeah, I'll go adjust contracts in a second. But yeah, I didn't want to copy all the free agents, so I just got the first page of free agents, and whoever was on there as SPM needs to be 18. 18. There we go. But yeah, I basically got just the first page of free agents that were still in the game and just put them there. The rest of the free agents are completely new. And I've never seen them before. None of these guys are ever gonna play, hopefully. But yeah, we also don't have the ability. I know you can't see here, but we don't have the ability to draft. And I just kind of changed it to a GM mode series, so I don't have to focus on drafting. But yeah, so that's what happened. That's what happened, and I think something that might affect this series is we don't see previous development. And what I mean by that is every player is basically restarting their career at the age that they're at right now, and they've never played a game. So like Sours has never played a game. The team does not have a game in its history. So we're kind of restarting the series around kind of the same spot with all the same different players. That didn't make sense. But yeah, like Milikos doesn't have a title because he hasn't played for Paladin in this series, according to the game. So when I say reset development, people like like Sours who are older, people like Lolkina, Sani, R1, like all these older players, they might not retire for a couple more seasons. Like Miker might not retire for Paladin, even though he's played like 4 or 5 years for the team. In this simulation, this will be his first season. So we're gonna see some of the older players that were in the league keep going, and hopefully, it doesn't mess everything up. But I do also, before I go and adjust all these contracts. Want to talk about the format. Well, actually, you know what? I'll do that after the contract. So let me go fix everything real quick. So all the contracts are figured out. It's still a worrying situation for SI Gaming, but that is something to talk about later. Right now, I need to talk about the format of the rest of these episodes, which is effectively going to be one season per episode. Unless, and the only reason we're gonna, stop to do the regular season, or at least like be really interested in the regular season, is if by the halfway point things are looking interesting. Like we're not 0 and 15, or not. That's not the halfway point. 0 and 11 at the halfway point. Then I will at least consider, at least letting you guys see the regular season. But as of right now, I mean, we're not projected to finish bad this year. I think SI has probably left off with its best preseason power ranking ever before the series stopped at 5th. And I think our roster is good, and obviously the difficulty is a little bit easier now. But I'm still, this is SI Gaming. We're the worst, roster ever to play the game. The worst team ever to play the game. So maybe, I don't know. But if we are, then if we are bad, then we'll just skip through it and get to the off season, and we'll do that. But if it's good in a slight capacity, we might be making the playoffs or something. I'll slow it down and we'll watch the rest of the season, see how it ends up, and then obviously playoffs and off season are still going to be included in the episode. So now it is time to go. So SI Gaming, last season in this was 1-21, one of the three 1-21 records we've had in this series. We never won more than 5 games. And here is how everything progressed. Obviously, this is in the other simulation, so something might be different. But we added Milikas. The roster looks solid. Now it's just, can we perform? Now, actually, before I go look at some history, let me go back here. Here is the history of the league. I actually have to make a custom thing because the league is kind of screwed up in terms of its why is that frozen? Okay, there we go. In terms of its history recording device, sometimes it records the third place team as the runner-up. That's what happened the first 3 years, but the last 2 are correct. So here is the history that it is right now. Crimson Moon just won their first title. We haven't had a repeat champion yet, which is incredible. Almost half the league has won a title now without, two champions. So it's going to be intriguing, to see this year, because as of right now, as we transition back to the live screen, Crimson Moon is undoubtedly the best team in the game right now. Sandy may be hitting the market this season, but that's after the season. Right now, they're looking primed to win another title. With Rookie of the Year XS, as well as Art and Royalsa, one of the better bot lanes in the league. Electro has turned into a really good jungler, and Sandy is still one of the best, if not the best, top laners in the entire league. So yeah, Crimson Moon is the team to beat right now. And I don't know if SI Gaming, I don't think SI Gaming can beat Crimson Moon, but it's a pivotal season, not only for, it's the return of the series, and we want to do good, but also, we got to prove we can win. We haven't been able to win, we've only won what, 8 games in 5 seasons, and considering there's 22 games each year, that is not good. So we got to prove we can win with Milikas, the former champion, the champion on Paladin. He was one of the first champions. He was the Rookie of the Year back in 2019, of course, in the other series. This will start in 2019 now. But yeah, he has to prove that, he's still got it. And I think SI has to prove that they have to win. And also, it's a big year for the players, because I kind of stated I don't want everyone leaving at 2020. Well, we're gonna have 4 starters leaving in 2019, or at least this next upcoming season. With Sowers, Shaba, Netherrose, and Tornado's contracts all expiring, there's only 2 people on the team whose contracts are even through the next 2 years, and that's Milikos and Dilgot, who we just signed. So, yeah, it's a really pivotal year, not only for the team, but the players, because they're trying to earn another contract, and especially we are trying to impress Netherrose enough to stay, because he's the only person I'm really super concerned about losing right now. Unless we do really good, then hey, who knows? So here is our schedule for the season. Unlike in the previous thing, we do not face the champions to start off the year. Take on the 207 Shock. So yeah, here is the schedule. I think it is about time we get underway. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So already 2 months into the season, it's a really good year. SI is 5-3, and we're in 5th place. And considering our records in the past, that is a very big plus. We've already tied our win total, and we still have so many games left to go. So this is obviously an interesting season. We're just going to keep simming 1 month until we hit the playoffs. As we get a couple more wins, 3 wins in a row now. We're up to 4th with an 8-3 record. We're one of the top teams in the league alongside Paladin, Primal, and Quantum. Crimson Moon sitting down in 7th at a 5-7 record. Could miss the playoffs. We do lose to Primal Gaming, fall down a little bit, lose another game, lose 3 in a row after winning 3 in a row. And now SI with 8 games left, 2 months left, is not looking very good. They want to make the playoffs. We're still in it right now, but we gotta get some more wins in order to feel more confident about it. Hit 3 and 1 there in the last month, and we have 1 more month to go. Right now we sit 2nd in the power rankings in terms of overall, which is funny to me. But yeah, so here's the remaining schedule. 2 games against the Aether Wolves, 1 game against the Silver Dragons, and Infuriate Maces. None of those teams have winning records, so I think it's looking pretty darn good for us to make the playoffs. Let's go see if we do. We did it. SIG has made the playoffs for the first time in history. We went 13-9, easily our best season by far. And we made the playoffs as the 5th seed. Your number 1 seed is Quantum, number 2 seed is Paladin. Your defending champions, Crimson Moon, made it at 6th place, while Excalibur made it in 3rd. Primal is your 4th place team that we'll be facing, and obviously SIG is there. So, let's see. Primal Gaming, I think they've run up a couple times, if I'm correct. Let me look at the history thing. So yeah, Primal has been a runner-up in 2 finals in 2021 and 2023, otherwise known as Season 5 and Season 3. So Primal is a pretty darn good team. Why is that frozen? I can't have that frozen. Well, we did it. SIG has finally made the playoffs. After 5 seasons, we go 13-9, finishing 5th for our best record by far. And SIG has finally made the playoffs. Your number 1 seed with a 16-6 record is Quantum. Your number 2 seed is Paladin. The defending champions Crimson Moon finish 6th, and they'll take on Excalibur, while we will face off against Primal in the quarterfinals. Now, if we take a quick look at history here, you can see Primal has already won, or not won, has already ran up 2 different times back in Season 3 and Season 5. So it is not going to be easy to beat this team. Here is their roster with Taber, Zupdog, Shuga, Duelant, and Dualstock. Obviously, everyone knows who Dualstock is. He's probably the best support, one of the best players in the league's history. And this team is definitely looking for a title here if they can get it. They're obviously, they want to be the sixth team to lift the trophy, but I don't know if they can get by us. I think it's going to be a good match. I think we can win. Our best player this season was the player who now has 121 games played in the team's history in Sours. Although obviously in this game it only says 22. He has the most games played in the history of the team, and he's been here since the beginning, and he was the best performing player this year. So let's go ahead and sim through these playoffs. Let's see if we can get our first playoff victory. And obviously the series win as well. We lose game 1 to Primal. We lose game 2 to Primal. And SIG gets swept out of the playoffs, going 0-3. Not winning a single game. It's the first time we'll look at the game log. First game was not even close. Second game, we killed them a little bit, but not a whole bunch. And then the third game was where we really showed up. Sours played Heimerdinger top lane, and Tornado even got ahead on Misfortune, but Duelant's Draven could not be contained, and we lost. So Primal will advance to face Quantum. On the other side, defending champion Crimson Moon in a little bit of a stretch, but they do manage to take down Excalibur 2-3. So it will be your number 1 seed Quantum taking on the 4 seed Primal, while Paladin and Crimson Moon will fight for the title once again. Those are the two most successful teams I'd argue in this series, facing off against each other. So let's see who can win in the semifinals. As Quantum sweeps aside Quantum sweeps aside Primal. They make their second final, their first since the first season. As you go to Game 5 with Paladin and Crimson Moon will head up to defend their title. So it will be your number 1 seed Quantum with VNX, Dream, Bane, Cole, and Arwan, taking on your defending champions, 6th seed Crimson Moon Esports, with Sani, Electro, XS, Art, and Royalsa. So, once again, just personally looking back right now, Crimson Moon going for the back-to-back titles will be the first ever time that someone's won 2 titles, and obviously the first time someone's won back-to-back. Quantum, this is their first final since the first season. Let's see if they can win. Quantum takes game 1. Quantum takes game 2. And Quantum sweeps aside Crimson Moon. No back-to-back titles for Crimson Moon as Quantum wins. Shapko from Paladin actually won MVP. Bane wins Finals MVP. And you can see some of the retirements. Destoran from Crystal, Death from Primal, Mons from Imperium Aces, Zupdog from Primal, Cowboy from Crystal, Rap from 207 Shock, Red Tonics from Jade Crown, R1 from Quantum. iMain actually retires at 22, that's huge. Electro also retires, Damateo also is gone, and Leofrost retires. So yeah, League first team, Shapko, Cole, VNX, R1, Zay. Second team, Dream, Lifeform, Dualstock, Micro, Venus. Third team, Knight, Wixuga, Bane, Type 0, and Duelant. And your Rookie of the Year. So there seems to be a slight issue. I can't find a Rookie of the Year. Legitimately. None of the rookies who played in the season were awarded it, and I haven't found it anywhere else. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it to Dawn Hinox Butler, who had a pretty good year for Jade Crown, even though they didn't make the playoffs. So Hinox will win Rookie of the Year. Here are your league leaders for anyone interested. Taver led the league in kills per game with 4.5. KDA belongs to the MVP Shapko. That seems to be how the game decides the MVP is the KDA. Most assists to Arwan at 12.1. And Duelant led the league in CS at 356 exactly. So, as we prepare for this offseason, no retirements from SI, and it was a very big year, going 13-9. And the question heading into this offseason it's not how much better can SI get, it's how much can they retain. Because obviously, as I pointed out earlier in the episode, Sours, Shaba, Netherrose, and Tornado are all hitting the market. And I don't know who to sign as of right now besides Netherrose. I mean, yes, Sours, Shava, and Tornado were really good, but at the same time, there's a bunch of other players hitting free agency. As we'll read through this message, it doesn't matter. Here are all the players expiring contracts. Everyone does want to resign with us, so that's good. But yeah, here are the upcoming free agency season. As you can see, people like Lolkina, Sani, Lifeform, Duelant, Benix, Shapko, the MVP Shapko is hitting the free agency market, and like there's so many good players, it almost feels like I should let them go. But at the same time, I don't know how many players are going to resign. There's also the draft class, which is pretty big. Or well, pretty. It's only 2 players bigger because I actually found 2 players in the actual game that had interesting names, so I decided to just import them into the draft class instead of like deleting them. So your number 1 prospect is mid laner Euphila. There's also your top 80 carry prospect is Blazing Frog, and also, yes, that is not a typo. There is a guy called Meme Lord Jones as his actual name, and that will be his name throughout the series. So hopefully, Meme Lord Jones can get signed to a team. I might have to sign him myself. But here's the roster now. We don't have a mid laner, and we do need a top laner. So hey, Meme Lord Jones could be with us, but I feel like I'm gonna let Sours go. I just think he's too old, and I think there's gonna be too much stuff. We're obviously going to sign Netherrose to a 3-year extension. There's no doubt about that. But I feel like everyone else we're going to let go. Sours, Tornado, Shava, and Inside X. Worst case scenario, we re-sign them. Probably not though. I'm gonna go ahead and say for releasing these players, we're not going to re-sign them. That's absolutely necessary. So until free agency, we shall go. Let's see who's out there. Your number 1 player, Lolkina, has hit the free agency market, as well as 80 carry Benix, mid laner Ollivander. Some really good players out there. It does not look like the MVP, though. Shapko hit the market. Looks like he got re-signed. So with that news, we're going to re-sign Shava for another 2 years. I think it was worth having him on the roster this last season, and he did pretty good. But without the MVP option out there, I think we're going to re-sign Shaba, and we are going to officially now let go of Tornado and Sours. We are not allowed to re-sign them. So as far as who to sign next, well, I think Phoenix is a pretty good option, to say the least. He had a pretty good season on Jade Crown, even though they didn't make the playoffs, and I think it would make sense. So we're going to sign Phoenix to a 3-year contract. And then we need a top laner and another mid laner. So as far as backup mids go, I want to sign Aquaman soon, just because he has a cool name. And as far as, what was it? A top laner. We can't sign Sours, obviously. He's the best top laner available. There is Drago, who did play for Paladin a couple years ago. But I think we're better off getting a prospect and trying to develop them. If we go here by the top position, your best top prospect would be X77, all the way down there, 46 100 overall. So a second-year player is looking like it's looking like we're gonna have to sign one of them. Either that, or we can sign Drago. Saints has 66 overall and 96 potential. I'm honestly going to just sign, not Shane, Drago, to be the most likely backup top laner, but for now he'll start unless, if Saint gets any better, Saint's going to start. But yeah, so we're moving on from our longest tenured player in the top lane. We also get lose Tornado to free agency. We signed Benix. We also get Aqua Monsoon, and Drago will join us. So yeah, let's see how the rest of free agency goes for the rest of the teams. So for the second year in a row, Freeaxe is your top free agent to kick off the preseason, or to top off the preseason, I guess it would be. There were definitely some major moves. But let's go first find out where our former players ended up. So Sowers signed with Excalibur. He will be their backup top laner to Lifeform, or at least I hope he will be. But Crystal managed to snatch the services of Tornado, as he will look to try and rebuild that team who has struggled a little bit in recent years. The biggest moves of the offseason were made by the Aether Wolves, bringing in Blackjaw and LOLGM to complement Holland Sword, Limpstar, and Corvin. So, Steam also has a question at Jungle if they're going to start Limpstar or Bobo, but Limpstar is in the top right now. So yeah, that's that. Let's go check our roster. As it looks like Saint will be the top laner. As you see, Benix is actually a 90 overall. Holy cow. So we made the right decision by letting Tornado go. As even though yes, it does say edit player, I do not edit players' ratings. Obviously, besides when I'm creating them. But yeah, Benix jumps up to 90 overall. And the team really didn't get much worse. Saint pretty much replaces Sowers in the top lane. We keep Shaba and Netherrose, who got slightly worse. We add Benix, obviously, and Milikos didn't get terribly worse. So yeah, we now have the best player in the league on our team, and for SIG, it is looking massively good. We're only 4th in the power rankings, though, so as far as a team effort goes, it's going to be the same thing as last year. But my name is LOLGM the Great. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys like the return to this series, and I will see you all next time.